Hello everybody, we are back at this amazing mango farm that I was at the other day filming, and I'm going to put the contact information below the video. But this is Alex, and the day after I was here, he said we found our first ripe mango of the 2021 mango season. One of the things I love about going to his website is to see all the previous years, him make that announcement when he found his first mango. And it's so great, and from the first mango to the last mango, he always posts, found the first mango for this season, or if it's a variety, he'll sell it. We have our first variety of this mango, and it's really cool. But this time I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. He said he found 2 or 3 Edwards on the tree, right?
Oh, actually, I think we found 5 yesterday.
5 yesterday.
They had fallen from the tree to the ground, so I haven't had an opportunity lately to go up in there and check, but I knew there was some from a fall bloom that were getting pretty close to ready.
So now, is Edward traditionally an early mango?
Yeah, it's an early season mango. Now, early season can mean different things in different places. Here, we consider Edward an ultra early season mango, or an early season mango, because it can mature fruit as early as March. And only a few mangoes can do that, at least here in South Florida. So we always find a few ripe Edwards in March, but it's not uncommon for us to have a significant amount of them in April. And always in May and June, we have a good supply of them too. So it's an early season mango, really more of a very early season mango that will have multiple crops, because Edward will usually flower more than one time, sometimes as much as 3 or 4 times during a season.
Is that true for many of the early season mangoes, that they flower more than once?
Quite a few of them do, yeah. I mean, just a few of the really early ones. Rosy Gold will often flower more than once. Rosa, which is from Brazil, will flower multiple times every year. Dwarf Hawaiian will do it. Julie is an early season mango that will flower multiple times. Carrie often does it too. So there's quite a few early season mangoes that will have multiple blooms.
Now, what is, of all the years you've been here, and all of the years you've been eating mangoes, because you've been eating mangoes your whole life,
yeah,
what is the earliest mango you've ever grown or had within season, not from another country, but within locally?
The earliest, I mean, I've had what I consider off-season fruit from a number of different varieties. So to me, mango season, the delineation date would probably be like March 15th, and anything that's occurring before that date would be considered off-season fruit, anywhere from, say, November until March. So I've had a number of varieties that threw off-season bloom and ended up with some fruit in the winter and very early part of spring. But typically the earliest mangoes that we've gotten were Rosy Golds or Edwards in the middle of March. I've had some roses that came really early before. One year I remember we had a lot of Carabeas, that's the Philippine mango, that came like in the middle of March or started around that point in time. So those are some varieties, but Edward or Rosy Gold are usually our earliest mangoes to actually have a ripe fruit most
And
years.
towards the end of the season, what's usually the I know there's a good variety of late mangoes,
Yeah.
but what's usually the latest?
You know, usually the latest is one of either Neelam is usually one of the latest. Another one that's been pretty late for us the last few years is the M4, the ZIL M4. That comes very late. Back when I used to grow kits, I'd seen kits last into October before. In fact, up in Jupiter, I knew kit trees that would sometimes have fruit in November. What else? Beverly, a few years made it into late September or even October on really late bloom. So those are some of the latest ones that I've had that I can remember. I'm sure there's a few others.
Well, this is a special day and a special time, because last year I was looking to get different trees, and I got a whole bunch of different scions from Alex. I came after the mango season, and he said, "Oh, hold on, I got one gift for you." And he gave me an M4 mango, and it was like after mango season, everyone else known of. And all the sites were saying, "Does anyone have, what's the latest mango you have?" And I had that, and it was really special. And now here I am this year, and the timing just right. One of the first ones to get a ripe mango this year, and he said, "Yeah, come on by and try it." So I'm really excited.
Great.
All right.
So we'll try it.
All righty. The first mango is 2021, and I feel honored to be here. Thank you so much. So this is an Edward, right?
Yeah, so these are Edward mangoes. Now, this is not prototypical size for Edward. It's normal for these real early ones to be on the small side. I mean, this is about as small as an Edward mango will typically ever get. You know, they don't really develop to their full size when they've been
growing during the winter, essentially, which is these would have been fruit from a bloom that would have occurred maybe in October or November. And it's not unusual for us to have some bloom at that point in time, regardless of the weather conditions. It seems like some of these trees here will bloom off of the change in daylight hours as the daylight hours shrink towards the fall. Some trees like Edward, for example, will throw some bloom, I think, just off of that, because we had a very warm October and November, and we still had bloom on a number of our Edward trees. So when you imagine the Edward mango, know that it gets much larger than this. I mean, they can be over a pound on average in many cases. These are certainly well under that. So they're not really representative in terms of size, and they won't be representative completely in terms of flavor either, because fruit that develops during the cooler months of the year is usually less sweet than the fruits that develop in the later spring and summer, and that's because the more heat, the sweeter the mangoes tend to be. It's kind of the opposite of citrus fruit, which needs a little kiss of cold to sweeten up, and that's true of a few other fruits too, I suppose. But mangoes, it's the opposite. Cold weather will actually reduce their Brix, and so the Brix being the total soluble solids, the sugars of the fruit. So anyway, but these are Edward mangoes. Here's the fruit, okay? So this is a ripe one, probably prime. Now these were dropped mangoes. These were not fruit that I picked off the tree. We much prefer to pick them off the tree, although in this particular one I don't really see any damage. A lot of times when they drop off the tree, especially from our large trees, there'll be significant damage to the flesh. And so that can impact the flavor, of course. So we always prefer to sell picked fruit, and we always let people know whether a picked fruit was harvested from the tree or if we have a drop and they're sold differently. But here you go, Paul.
Okay. So the flavor is not going to be ideally the best of what it will one day be, but I'm sure it'll be good enough. That's a mango.
Yeah, that's a mango. So this is Edward is what we call a classically flavored mango, and a classically flavored mango is a mango that has a good amount of sweetness, but also some subacidity. You can taste a little bit of acidity there. The comparison to another fruit would be stone fruits, like peaches and nectarines and plums and things like that. You can taste some of that flavor in that fruit. And most old Florida varieties have a flavor that's similar to this. And like I mentioned, this is not what Edward will taste like a month or two from now, but this isn't bad for a March mango.
Yeah, no, this is excellent for March mango now. So wonderful. Alrighty, so
here, have another piece. This is one of the other ones that I harvested, or didn't harvest, I found yesterday. That one's actually a little less ripe than this one was, so
yeah,
a little tangier.
All right, keep Edward alive. Plant a Edward mango tree.
Hopefully we'll get to try one, or you'll get to try some during the mango season and that are really prime. But this is certainly not bad for a March mango. And sometimes you try them in March and they're just totally washed out. That was not the case of this mango. So
yeah, and if you're going to buy a mango tree, remember, speak to Alex and check his website out, because you don't want to get 2 trees that are early season. If you only have space for 2 trees, get one early. If you have space for 3, one mid, one later. Alex has all that information on his website. He knows all about that. He has a list of all these different types of mangoes. We did another video. I'll put a link below this where we went around his grove and he described many of them, but not all of them. We'll come back and do more, but this is a place you want to check out to learn about the history of mangoes and also to buy some of these amazing mangoes. There's trees, if you're looking for Edward trees or any type of trees, he has them all for sale, and he could ship them all over the country. So thank you so much for having us out.
I'm glad you got to try one of the first ones. So,
so am I.
Hopefully we'll have a lot more in like a month or so.
One of the last ones last year, the M4, and one of the first ones this year, the Edward. So I'm riding a mango cloud right now. It's great. Thank you.